The moment you wake is not empty space, it is a crossing. Most men do not see it because it looks harmless. Warmth surrounds the body, stillness feels earned. The world has not yet made demands. In that quiet, comfort approaches without announcing itself. It does not threat, it suggests. It asks for permission in a voice that sounds reasonable. And when permission is granted, weakness takes its seat without resistance. I have watched many strong men lose their edge before the sun rises, not because they were incapable, but because they delayed command. They believed a few moments of ease would change nothing. They did not see that those moments were teaching the mind who was in charge. When the mind learns it can negotiate, it negotiates everywhere. At waking, the body is honest, it has no argument, it waits. The mind, however, wakes eager to protect comfort. It remembers fatigue, it imagines difficulty, it offers stories that justify delay. These stories feel intelligent, they are not. They are avoidance wearing logic. If you listen, you place yourself under their authority. Rising immediately is not violence against the self, it is clarity. It tells the mind that excuses are irrelevant. Action does not require approval. The body moves and the mind follows. This order is ancient. When reversed, confusion grows. Many believe discipline is built through intensity. They chase harshness, thinking pain alone creates strength. They overlook the simpler truth. Discipline is built through immediacy, the refusal to hesitate, the removal of debate. A single clean movement from stillness to standing carries more authority than an hour of forced effort later. There is a reason hesitation feels heavy. It is not rest, it is friction. The mind pulls one way, the body another. Energy is wasted before movement even begins. When you rise without pause, friction disappears, movement becomes smooth, strength is preserved. Comfort is patient. It does not demand everything at once. It takes small permissions and turns them into habit. 5 minutes become 10, delay becomes routine, routine becomes identity. By the time weakness is noticed, it has already built structure. Rising before comfort can speak breaks this chain at its first link. It denies weakness the chance to organize. It keeps command where it belongs, not in emotion, not in feeling, in action. This practice does not make you rigid, it makes you decisive. Decisiveness is not haste, it is clarity. The decisive move without noise. They do not announce discipline, they practice it quietly. Some mornings the body will feel heavier, some mornings the mind will resist more fiercely. These mornings are not exceptions, they are teachers. If you only rise when it feels easy, you are training convenience, not strength. Strength is revealed when action precedes feeling. There is no need for aggression here, no anger, no forcing, just instruction, feet to the floor, spine upright, breath steady. The simplicity is what makes it powerful. Complexity invites debate, simplicity ends it. Many search for motivation at dawn, they wait for desire to appear. Desire is unreliable, it comes and goes without warning. Command does not. Command is always available. You may not feel ready, but readiness is not required. Movement is. Each time you rise immediately, you place a mark within yourself, proof that you can act without permission from comfort. Over time, these marks accumulate. Confidence grows quietly, not from praise but from evidence. The world rewards reaction. Messages, noise, urgency press in quickly. Those who rise slowly are immediately pulled outward, their attention scattered before it is formed. Those who rise with command hold their center. They decide when to engage. This decision is power. Do not mistake this for denial of rest. Rest has its place. It must be chosen, not taken by default. Chosen rest restores, default rest dulls. The morning is not for rest, it is for alignment. When you rise before comfort can speak, you win the first battle without struggle. You begin the day ahead of yourself, not chasing what was lost. This changes how you meet difficulty. You are not hopping to be strong later, you have already acted. Weakness thrives in negotiation. Remove negotiation and weakness starves. This is not cruelty. It is mercy practiced early. It prepares you for the weight that will come. If you fall back into delay, do not dramatize it, notice it, correct it the next morning. Discipline is not fragile, it is rebuilt through consistency, not perfection. The day does not test you first, you test yourself. Win here and the rest of the day meets a man already standing. Rise before comfort has time to negotiate, and weakness will learn silence. Once you have risen before comfort has a chance to speak, the next trial appears quietly, almost invisible. It is not a test of strength but a test of attention. The world is already ready to rush in, eager to claim your focus, to scatter your energy, to set the rhythm of your day before you have chosen your own. Messages, notifications, obligations, and other people's urgencies all wait in silence, anticipating permission to enter. If you allow them before you have claimed your morning, your victory fades. Many men rise but are already weak within minutes, not because they are incapable but because they never seized control of the first hour. The morning is raw material, untouched, unshaped, and highly vulnerable. Those who fail to claim it treat it casually. They look outward before looking inward. They respond before deciding. By the time they realize they are scattered, the day has already been arranged by forces that do not respect their purpose. It is subtle but decisive. Silence and solitude are the tools of the disciplined. Noise and distraction are the weapon of the weak. To seize the morning is not to withdraw from the world. It is to meet it on your own terms. The first hour is the foundation upon which the rest of the day is built. In that hour, stillness is not absence but clarity. In stillness, the mind reveals its habits, its restlessness, its desire for distraction. This is not weakness, it is honesty. If you observe it without obeying it, you reclaim authority over yourself. The weak flee from this truth, the disciplined confront it. Most men confuse information with preparation. They believe that consuming more news, messages, social media prepares them for the day. In reality, consumption without alignment creates confusion. A mind crowded with input before it has organized itself cannot act decisively. The discipline begin differently. Breath is steady, posture is deliberate, awareness is focused. Only then is the world allowed to enter. Information becomes a tool rather than a flood. Movement during this hour is deliberate, not frantic. It teaches the body to obey command, not impulse. Simple actions, standing, stretching, walking. Controlled effort speak directly to the nervous system. They say, "You are awake because I have decided to be." A body that learns this lesson early resists less later. The mind follows a body that moves on principle rather than desire. Stillness is equally critical, not the stillness of sleep but the stillness of presence, of observation without distraction. Sitting or standing without rushing, without reaching for stimulation, trains patience. Many avoid this practice because it exposes discomfort, the subtle craving for noise, but that craving is weakness seeking an opening. If resisted, it weakens its hold. The world promotes urgency as strength. It teaches men to react quickly, to chase every signal. This is false. Urgency without direction is panic wearing armor. The man who has claimed his morning moves deliberately, calmly, without rush. He knows that speed applied too early produces errors that must be corrected later. Calm effort preserves energy and sharpens awareness. The weak confuse haste with efficacy, the disciplined do not. Seizing the morning also creates a protective buffer. Problems do not vanish, but they arrive diminished. Decisions do not disappear, but they appear clearer. This is not because the world has changed. It is because you have already stood still while it slept. Noise loses its authority over a mind trained in silence. Authority becomes internal rather than borrowed from circumstances. Comfort is most dangerous when it appears harmless. A warm bed, a glowing screen, the ease of habit, all seem innocuous, but each is an invitation to surrender. To seize the morning is to refuse these invitations, not out of hatred for comfort, but out of loyalty to strength. Comfort can exist later once the day has been aligned under your control. Now it must wait. Many view discipline as heavy, unpleasant, or joyless. They imagine it as constant struggle. In truth, claiming the first hour simplifies life. It reduces unnecessary choices and conserves energy for tasks that matter. The day flows more efficiently not because it is easier, but because resistance has been neutralized before it had a chance to grow. There is a reason the early hours are sacred to those who respect them. They are free of performance. No one is watching. No applause is expected. Action in this hour is pure. It is not for approval, it is for alignment. This purity strengthens character and quietens fear. It builds confidence without requiring recognition. Those who fail to claim their morning often spend the day trying to recover it. They chase focus, motivation, and calm, unaware that all three were available at dawn and they surrendered them willingly. This chase exhausts more than effort ever could. The disciplined act early and thus conserve strength for what truly matters. Consistency compounds. Days turn into weeks, weeks into character. A mind accustomed to early alignment becomes quieter, less reactive. Challenges feel smaller because preparation has already been applied. Stress arrives, but you are grounded. Chaos does not scatter you because you have already faced the silence and emerged composed. The first hour dictates how the day behaves. If it is rushed, fragmented, distracted, the day mirrors it. If it is deliberate, aligned, calm, the day follows. Patterns formed in these quiet hours are reliable. Ignore them and you live at the mercy of circumstance. Respect them and the world responds to your command. Some will say such practice is unnecessary or excessive. They are speaking from lives shaped by habit rather than principle. The discipline do not argue with opinions, they move silently, deliberately, and leave results to speak. Strength does not require explanation. Seizing the morning is an act of self-respect. It says that your purpose is important enough to be defended from intrusion. It says that no loud voice, no external demand will decide your direction. Over time, this respect becomes visible. It is noticed even if not named. Presence carries authority. When the world finally enters, let it meet a mind that has already aligned and a body that has already moved. Then disturbances are manageable. Pressure is absorbed, not amplified. You are no longer chasing footing, you are already standing. Take the morning, and the day answers to you. Once the morning is claimed and the mind has been quieted, the body becomes the next battlefield. Many men fail here not because they lack knowledge but because they misunderstand their own instrument. The body is not a negotiator. It does not ask for permission, nor does it reason with excuses. It waits for command, yet most men allow it to lead, to decide, to debate. They wait for motivation, for energy, for a feeling that justifies effort. This is a reversal of order. The body is meant to obey, command must come first. When you train the body to respond without argument, the mind begins to follow. Every motion performed with deliberate intention sends a message to the nervous system. Authority exists here. Feet move because you decided it. Breath steadies because you commanded it. Muscles contract because discipline is present. Action becomes the teacher and the mind becomes the student. Hesitation fades because it no longer finds fertile ground. Obedience becomes automatic. The weak approach physical effort emotionally. They move when inspired and retreat when discomfort arrives. This inconsistency teaches the mind that feelings dictate action. Over time, it builds a man who is hesitant, indecisive, and vulnerable to external pressure. The disciplined act regardless of feeling. Obedience is practiced daily, and through repetition, the body internalizes command. What was once uncomfortable becomes routine. Resistance becomes expected, not feared. Pain is often treated as an enemy, but the disciplined know it is information. Pain reveals limits, exposes weakness, and highlights imbalance. To flee from it is to surrender authority. To pursue it without panic is mastery. Each controlled effort teaches patience. Each repeated motion strengthens not only muscle but resolve. The body obeys, and in doing so, it reinforces the mind's certainty. Strength is not the absence of difficulty, it is the ability to persist in the presence of it. Fatigue is not a signal to stop but a signal to continue deliberately. The body learns through action. It does not reason, it responds. Motivation is irrelevant. Desire is unnecessary. Action precedes feeling, and in that sequence lies power. Consistency is crucial. Discipline is not built in extremes but in daily practice. Small, deliberate movements repeated beyond comfort accumulate into authority over the self. The body begins to obey before the mind even considers argument. This automatic obedience is not rigidity, it is freedom. With a body that listens, decisions are faster, posture steadier, and presence unshakable. Some fear that strict physical discipline will harden the spirit. They confuse obedience with cruelty. In truth, weakness left unchecked is far crueler. A body that resists training teaches the mind to negotiate, and a mind that negotiates breeds hesitation and fear. Discipline protects. It aligns body, mind, and purpose. Effort is not punishment, it is the law of self-mastery. The body remembers what the mind forgets. Muscles store lessons of patience, endurance, and resilience. The nervous system retains habits that the conscious mind may overlook. This is why daily practice is non-negotiable. Skipping a day allows negotiation to creep back in. Consistency trains obedience, not desire. Over time, even when motivation falters, the body moves as commanded. The mind follows without debate. Control of the body builds confidence. Not arrogance, not display, but quiet, undeniable certainty. A man who can command his own body need not hope for readiness, he creates it. Each morning of obedience is proof deposited in the self. Over weeks and months, these deposits compound, forming a foundation that cannot be shaken by circumstance or challenge. Effort is not always about strength or speed. Precision is equally important. Sloppy movement signals inner disorder. Deliberate, controlled action teaches efficiency, sharpness, and awareness. Each gesture becomes intentional, each motion meaningful. A body trained in obedience communicates authority before words are spoken. Presence becomes palpable because it is anchored in control. The disciplined also learn restraint. Obedience does not mean exerting maximum effort at all times, it means following principle. A body trained to obey does not expend energy recklessly. It does not act without cause. It learns to conserve force, to direct effort strategically, and to respond rather than react. This discipline in movement mirrors discipline in thought. Every time the body obeys without hesitation, a subtle change occurs. fear loses leverage, indecision becomes rare, confidence grows quietly because it is based on proof, not affirmation. The mind becomes clearer because it is no longer arguing with sensation. The spirit steadies because resistance has been confronted and overcome regularly. Those who fail to command their bodies will struggle in all arenas. Stress will scatter them, challenges will overwhelm them, but a man whose body responds immediately carries stability with him. The foundation of obedience protects him from chaos. Movement becomes instinctive, focus becomes natural, presence becomes unshakable. Even on days when resistance is strongest, the discipline persists. Fatigue, soreness, discomfort, all are acknowledged but never permitted to dictate action. Intensity may be adjusted, but principle is not compromised. Motion continues. Command continues. This consistency removes hesitation from other aspects of life, for the mind has learned through the body that action precedes uncertainty. Discipline over the body is also humility. Effort teaches truth quickly. There is no pretense under strain. Arrogance cannot hide when muscles falter or posture wavers. Obedience refines ego by revealing reality. Strength grows quietly without display, but it is undeniable to those who observe. The greatest victory is achieved when the body obeys before the mind argues. Motivation becomes unnecessary. Hesitation becomes irrelevant. Action becomes instinctive, automatic, and precise. The disciplined man no longer asks his body how it feels, he commands it, and feeling aligns afterward. Resistance fades, difficulty becomes expected, weakness loses its home. Command of the body shapes the character of the mind. It teaches patience, clarity, and decisiveness. It strengthens will without words. Every motion, every repetition, every controlled effort reinforces identity. A man becomes unshakable not by chance but by obedience practiced daily. Train the body to obey, and hesitation will have nowhere to live.